find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start dropping. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn, so there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's still start trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening and welcome back to Sunday night. It's the iGPFun F3 League Round 7 Season 3 live from Motorland Aragon in Spain. The circuit itself here today is the Grand Prix circuit. 5.345 kilometers, 3.321 miles, 18 turns, and a track record of a 1:41.376 set by Arthur Pick, believe it or not, in a Dallara T12 back in 2012 in a Formula Renault 3.5. It does have 4 configurations, okay? There is a motorcycle circuit, there is a national circuit as well. Here, there's a little bit smaller. It's an FIA grade 1 for 4 layouts. 4 of the layouts have got grade 3, and then some of them, the 4-turn layout, have got grade 4. Now, the circuit itself, believe it or not, broke ground in December 2005. It opened in September 2009. It holds the World Superbike from 2011, the European Le Mans for 2023, and it did hold the Europe Free Cup as well. So there's a lot on this circuit that we really did not know about. Now let's have a look at the top 30 in the standings, okay? So we will look at the top 30 in the standings. Now we have applied one drop week, and at the moment Kenzie Neuhoff is out in front on 207 with Connor Gibb on 195, Christian Glamsita on 183, Antonio Jimenez on 174, and Jakub Olowczynski up 11 on 169. Evan Way gone down 5 places into 6th for 167 with Andy Flint on 164. Adam Townsmore on 159 and Marcis Putniks on 153 with Chuck Morrow on 147. We've got Robert Ridgway in 11th with Yang Shi Lin in 12th. Vyacheslav Potapenko in 13th. Samuel Hermer 14th. And Marek Otlovs is down in 15th. Then we've got Gianfranco Bogoda, who's up 1 place after his victory last week with Leonard Cherry in 17th. Koji Ito, Rino Scatini, Will McIntyre, Stephen Richards, Pedro Suarez, Luca Varani and Dorian Oreo in 24th. Then we've got Philip Lucas, Irvin Sumakun, Zoltan Zamata, Jacques Willems, Alvin Chan, and then in 30th place is Dennis Cornu. Now in the rookie standings, it is Connor Gibb who is out in front at the moment with Dennis Cornu in second. In the 2.5k standings, it's Rino Scatini out in front with Dorian Oreo in second, Michael LeMay in third, and Maximilian Gebhardt in fourth. Now, in the overall team standings, No Limits Sim Racing are out in front with Scudiera Hydro Race Sim Forces Formula Sim Racing Team by iRace. Blimey, that's a bit of a mouthful. In second with Hydro Race Racing Forces in third. In the 2.5k team standings, it's Modern Racing Prince with Evan Way and Matthew Brewer. Force International Racing Team in second with No Limits Sim Racing Academy in third. So there is a lot going on. I am James Parfitt. I'm going to be here guiding you through all the action. Now, I'm not with Ewan O'Leary. I am joined by the one and only Mr. Zach Sweeney. Ewan is sunning himself off in Riyadh in Egypt, I believe, and he's probably going to be more...
Egypt?
Is he Egypt or Abu Dhabi? Where is he?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. So he's going to be more. He's going to be more burnt than a chestnut at Christmas. Bless him. He's off out there at the moment. I hope he's got his fat to 50. But there you go. You've heard the voice of Zach. Let's bring him in for a chat. Good evening, young sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm really looking forward to this. Of course, I've had a very, very busy weekend here at the Excel in London. I'm back at the hotel now, of course, and looking forward to commentate some good old F3s around a pretty decent open wheel circuit.
Yeah, Aragon itself, we don't know much about it. It is our first time being here. I think it's pretty much everybody's first time being here as well. We were talking earlier on about Spanish circuits. You know my love for Catalonia. It drives me absolutely crazy at times, but can provide great racing when it wants to. But here we've got a little bit more stop-start corners, haven't we? Turn 1, turn 7, that run round to 12, and then 15 to 16 are all passing opportunities. Now, these guys, obviously, we've got the purple zone, which is lasts until just after turn 1. So there's no active overtakes till after turn 1. After that, they're free to race, and that is one of the good things here as well. We do have that purple zone that does make sure everybody gets through. Now, we do have 27.5 drivers. I'm going to say a half because Manuel Cruz has not actually put a time in for qualifying in this 30-minute session, so we're not sure if he's going to take to the race at all. But it does leave us with 27 cars here, Zach. I think the new circuit, people buying it as well, they're probably not going to race it again in other series. I haven't seen it pop up on other series as of yet. That could explain why the field's not up at its normal 45 to 50 like we normally have here.
Yeah, of course. Of course, it is new to the service, very, very recently been added. So naturally, there is that element of things as well. So people aren't going to be overly interested in doshing out. Obviously, for those that aren't as familiar with iRacing, it's dubbed iRent sometimes because, you've got to pay for each and every single track and car that you go for, and it's a pretty hefty lump sum. I mean, when you think about it, it adds up, James, about tenner-ish per track for a track you might only use once. And the good thing about this championship is it does allow sort of that leniency for that. Obviously, you were touching on drop rounds and things. So people might just be saying, well, sod that. I'm never going to do it again. I'll just take my drop week this week.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things they're going to be looking at doing here as well, is probably taking the drop weeks. There is 2 drop weeks currently here as well. We are on round 7, so I'm probably guessing by about round 10, we'll look at giving you the up-to-dates after that as well. So we'll keep an eye on the double drop weeks, of course, here. We're coming to the end of qualifying, and at the moment it's Josh Sentence out in front on a 1:51.39. This young gentleman is new here. I've not seen him before, so he's new to this series. and I believe this is his first round currently racing. But Kenzie Newhoff is in second. He's not normally a qualifier, but he is doing a great job. We don't have Lee Aberdeen, we don't have Gianfranco Bogota, we don't have Samuel Hermer. All protagonists, of course, running around in the championship. So there's a few drivers that we normally would see, we haven't gonna see here at the moment. We've still got Antonio Jimenez, so that's great. Leonard Cherry, Cola Gibb, Christian Glamseer, Pedro Suarez, Kenzie Newhoff. Josh Sentence, as I say, is a new one to the series today, so it'll be interesting to see what he will be able to do, as he's currently sitting out on pole. Now, Christian Glamseer, as we know, currently at the moment, he's sitting in 4th place. Very up and down weeks as well. He's sitting 3rd in the championship at the moment. He started and finished 5 out of 6. No wins, 1 podium. Average start is 11th. Average finish is 12th. Top 10s, he's had 4, and top 5s, he's had 2. So he's not doing too badly at the moment, sitting in 3rd place there, Zach. I think 3rd going into round 7's not a bad place to be.
Not at all. 3rd place isn't a bad place to be at the end of the season, let alone midway through. So yeah, good place to be. A good stepping stone, of course. He's got to work his way forward, and obviously it depends what his aspirations is, but he's a racing driver. Naturally, it's going to be the aspiration to go and win the championship. And to be fair, taking a look at the championship standings, James, it doesn't seem to be a million miles away. He is relatively close, and all it really takes is one bad round. I mean, you said to me, we've only got 28 drivers. Just look at that time and tower. It's huge. So, if one thing goes really wrong for his championship rival, that's a good chunk of points, out the window. So he just has to make sure that he can capitalise and move his way up the field if/when that incident does happen, that provides him that opportunity potentially to find his way past. But it all starts here. He's got to, spark the rest of the season and take each race as they come.
Yeah, he definitely has, and I think that's the thing. He's got to capitalise on the situation while people are not here as well. So while people are not here, he's got to really try and deal with that as well. Ridgeway Racing, let's go Ridders. Of course, Stephen Ridders is currently sitting in 10th place at the moment. So let's see what happens. Dorian Oreo is down in 23rd. Jack Willems is in 16th at the moment as well. And Willems has come out previously, and I've said he just doesn't quite seem the Jack Willems that we've seen previously at the moment. He's had 4th race finishes. Average start is 24th. Average finish is 26. No top 10s, no top 5s. either, and he's looking at obviously dropping at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park as well with a 0 points, so I guess he probably wasn't there on that one. It's difficult for a driver when you do see them one season and they do so well, and then we come into the next season and they don't say anything. They don't kind of produce what you're expecting from a driver, and I think that's the tough thing with Willems as well. He's got to try and sort of regain form that we have seen from him previously.
Oh, for sure. It's quite heartbreaking, obviously, to see, because as commentators, we network with the drivers, we talk to them a lot, we build relations, we get to know them essentially quite well, and obviously we're the ones that see them. We see that progress, we tell that story throughout the season. So to see it, take a massive cliff off, it's kind of a surprise. It takes you back a little bit, saying, hang on, what is going on here? Why aren't the results showing how good they are? And obviously over the course of the weekend with my duties and things, talking to different drivers about their experiences in teams. Obviously, talking with some of the best eSport guys, they've been touching on how some of their teammates, they're not quite up to scratch. They're really, really good. They've got such great potential. But as soon as they have one bad result and their mental space isn't great, it just spirals from that, and it really can take an effect, because obviously we know how good Willems is. We know his potential. Maybe he's not seeing it right now. Maybe he is just down in the dumps, feeling sorry for himself. And unfortunately, when that mental space occurs, the results, they do reflect it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we're going to be looking out for. We have come to the end of qualifying. We are waiting for the last of the drivers to finish off as well. Tony Jimenez currently at the moment sitting in 4th on a 151.46 here. So let's see what happens with Tony Jimenez as he's going around that hairpin left-hander, which can provide some interesting action here as well, because obviously we've got that run down from 15 to 16, and then we've got the left-hander out here for turn 18, and then across the line we go currently as well. Tony Jimenez dives into the pits. Dorian Oro was also finished off, so we can have a look hopefully very, very shortly at your grid for this race. And we have got Josh Sentence out in front with Kenzie Newhoff in second, Pedro Suarez third, Tony Jimenez fourth, Christian Glamseater fifth, Connor Gibb sixth, Yangshi Lin seventh, Leonard Cherry eighth, Andy Flynn ninth, Stephen Ridders is 10th, Evan Way 11th, and Chuck Morrow down in 12th place. Then we got Marcius Putnieks, Irvin Turmakins, Adam Townsman, Jacques Willems, Vyacheslav Potapenko, Reed Dennis, Michael LeMay, Koji Ito, Garrett Spence, Dorian Ororio, and then Marek Otlovs, Reno Schettini, and then Matthew Gracie, Arturo Mayorga, Alistair Hay, and I don't believe Manuel Cruz is going to take to the stand, take to the line, but we will find out very shortly, as we do have Josh Sentence out in pole position at the moment. But let's see what actually happens here once more, as these guys will go racing 27 laps here, Zach, of what will plan to be, I'm sure, absolutely epic action.
Oh, always. From obviously what I've seen from the iGPFun League, obviously this is my first time commentating, so hello to this community. It's always a pleasure to be a part of something new. But from what I've seen of it, obviously the glimpses that I catch on the streams that I do watch, it just seems like a lot of carnage. And obviously talking to you quite often, James, about your experiences in the IGP, and you always sing their praises. It's always a good race, so I'm looking forward to some good action. 27 laps of it, of course, and a huge grid around a circuit that, well, it's built for motorbikes. Let's put it that way.
All right, okay, mate. Well, let's see what happens here. 27 laps of action. Purple zone down through turn 1. So let's see what happens here as well. The lights are going to be coming on very, very shortly. 3, 4, 5. Here we go now. We are up and running and underway. And starting off here, we're going to go round turn 1. And then the overtakes. Then the racing can commence. And it is Sentence out in front with Newhoff in second, with Suarez behind that. Then we've got Christian Glamseater. Tony Jimenez trying to run around the outside here currently at the moment. And is doing a stellar job. Jimenez has settled in behind him on that run through turn 4 and 5. There's somebody off the side of the circuit there at the moment, but there's battles all the way through. Putnieks trying to make the way over Evan Way. Jacques Willems is up 1 place as well, with Reed Dennis dispatched in the background. Can he get past Vyacheslav Potapenko? That's going to be the question. What about Ridders? Ridders has had a start he'll want to forget. He's down in 22nd, down 13 positions at the moment, but everybody made it through up and cleanly as well here, so they're doing a great job. There was a little bit of an off track earlier on, but it is Josh Sentence out in front with Kenzie Newhoff in second, Pedro Suarez third, Glamseater up 1 in fourth. Everybody away cleanly here, Zach, so not a bad start at all.
No, absolutely not, and a very, very good start for Josh Sentence. So being able to retain that pole position in the opening laps is vital, especially at a circuit like Aragon. Yes, it flows quite well, but sometimes overtaking can be quite difficult, particularly through the downhill sweepers and the chicanes and things, because you're not going for heavy braking zones or anything like that. So Sentence to be able to retain that track position going to be very vital against the Flying Dutchman.
It definitely is here as well. Can Sentence keep hold of Kenzie Newhoff from the Hydro Racing Forces? They've got Suarez sitting in third, Glamseater in fourth. We've got Townsma. He is up 3 places. He's chasing down Putnieks with Potapenko up 3, Spence up 2. Stephen Ridders is down 12 places, currently at 22nd. He did not get a good start at all. In the background there, we've got Arturo Mayorga battling away with the 707 of Matthew Gracie. They're side by side currently as well. well on that run out of turn 1. 16, 17, sorry. Through 18 they go. Down the start-finish straight. They're going to be running side by side. Mayorga does manage to get past. He's now got Gracie trying to look up the inside down into that turn 1. Nothing doing there for him. It's going to be a tough one. What about Nuoff? Is he going to be able to clear or get near Sentence? Sentence is looking tough here tonight, Zach, and he's going to be hard pushed, I think, for Nuoff to get through.
I think so. Of course, they're both going to be fighting as hard as they possibly can over the course of the next 25 and a bit laps that they've got left. Sentence trying to control the pace, of course, but Nuoff has got to be very, very careful. Pedro Suarez is closing the gap bit by bit. Don't forget about Clamseter as well. Just 1.1 seconds back. Could very well truly turn itself in a 4-car fight. But the thing with the Dutchman of Nuoff is the fact that maybe he is actually going to go for the move to the inside of the lead. But he's got to be so careful of the map from Portugal behind.
Yeah, it definitely has here as well. Kenzie Nuoff is fighting with Sentence. There's Sentence in our pictures. We're coming round turn 15. This is going to be the run now. If Nuoff's going to have a go, it's all the way down into turn 16. Sentence is there as well. The draft is kicking in. The time's coming down very, very slowly. Suarez is more on the back of Nuoff than Nuoff is on the back of Sentence. There is Suarez. I don't expect him to be making the move. Here we go now. And is he going to be able to make that move down into 16? He's not at the moment. There's been a swap further back with Leonard Cherry and Marcius Putnieks. Cherry's going there as well. You can see in that 55 black livery car side by side with Evan Way. Lady contact. Cherry goes off, loses the place to Putnieks. Adam Townsmer and Irvin Tumakans all at the same time there. Potapenko now got Jack Willems chasing him down into turn 1. Here's Willems going to be able to make that move. Here's Chuck Morrow as well. Morrow's mounted the back of Williams. Oh, nearly shot Williams up into the air there, Zach.
Yeah, very close. Of course, these Formula 3 cars, open wheel cars in general, very, very sensitive to any form of contact. So you've got to be so careful when you're riding so close together, and especially in 3-car fights like this, so easy to have a Constantine effect and bunch everyone up again a little bit. Not the greatest of lines from Pontapenko going through the long left-hander, which has sort of compromised his run ever so slightly. He could put him under threat from behind, but I think for now, James, he's got it covered. And in these opening stages, it's vital to keep track position. And there we go. There's the poor run.
Yeah, Morrow has gone through now as these guys are coming into turn 4 and 5. Through they go. They're on their way out to 8 and 9. Round the long looping left-hander of 9 and 10. Morrow did clear Potapenko. What is going on up front? Well, this is going up. Words, James. Choose your words. This is happening up front with Nuoff, Suarez and Sentence battling it out for the lead of this race here. So let's keep an eye on this battle for a little bit of time and see what's going to go on and whether or not Pedro Suarez will think about making a move on his teammate. Is he going to think about making that move over Nuoff? He's pulled out the draft. Nuoff is thought about going in with Sentence. Don't take out your teammate. Oh, Suarez was ever so close there, Zach, and nearly killed his teammate.
Go on, roller racing. Do not go anywhere near your teammate in terms of contact. And yeah, definitely on the limit. Here comes Nuoff into the inside of turn number 1, trying to go get the lead. He's managed to do it quite well. Here comes Suarez as well, trying to get him as, oh my word, Sentence very nearly lost at 2 places in 1 corner there, and was on the edge of a bit of contact as well.
Suarez trying to have a go at the inside of Sentence now on that run around turn 4. They've dipped on the inside. Suarez has looking like he's gone through. Sentence, I've got a funny feeling, is on our outside at the moment. Sentence is now making that move, trying to get on the inside of Suarez. They're wheel to wheel coming out the corner here on that run down into turn 8. Is he going to be able to get through here? Sentence, he's gone from 1st to 3rd in a matter of corners here, and he's now going to have a big old challenge to try and get his way back through, and that alone is going to be tough with the likes of Kenzie Nuoff and Suarez in front of him. Spence has just cleared, been overtaken by Stephen Ridders here. They're battling it out side by side. The 302 there of Spence has just gone past Ridders. Ridders went past Spence, and Spence has gone past Ridders, so they've swapped a couple of times, so doing a great job. It looks like Dorian Oreo and Michael LeMay have had an incident, and possibly together Bertilla. So let's hope on that one that both of these guys survive, with Michael LeMay now down in 24th place. Too wide, too deep, going round into 14. Is this going to work? This could be a bit of an issue here. Can they get through cleanly? They can, with the likes of Stephen Ridders and Garrett Spence in front of them there, Zach. And basically, they've all made it through at the moment, but it's very close as they come down into 16.
Yeah, indeed. So you can see side by side there as they run their way into probably the most key overtaking opportunity. Of course, ducking and diving, trying to find this space. We're side by side here as well as Ridders is trying to put on an offensive manoeuvre for 15th place. The up and under as well there potentially from Dennis in behind could be very beneficial for him as well. And what we're seeing, James, is these pockets of battle starting to form, and it's so difficult for that middle driver.
Yeah, it definitely is here. The middle driver's got to look back and look forward all at the same time. Pyotr Potapenko and possibly Marek Otlovzavada coming together. Otlov is at 146 there. Here's Koji Ito, in fact. And Potapenko there as well with the 93 behind him of Marek Otlovs. They both get slow, and I believe that is what it has picked up as a bit of an issue. Dorian Oreo and Michael LeMay are into the pits. And why are they into the pits here? You can see Michael LeMay in that 7-7. Oreo in that number 2 car. I've got a funny feeling LeMay's going to go in. Oreo went in way too hot, and unfortunately careered into the side of Michael LeMay there. And that, as you can say, Zach, is just missing your braking point altogether.
Oh yeah, the last thing you want to be doing. Again, it's so easy to do, of course, in these Formula 3 cars. Very sensitive, not got a lot in the way of driver aids with ABS and things. And if you brake too hard, you can lock the rears, you can lock the fronts very easily. And physical side of it, just looking up, maybe your attention's being diverted or whatever it is. Maybe you're carrying too much speed in the slipstream and you just miss your braking point. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you forget to brake. Side by side here, this is the stop for 5th place. Jimenez trying to move his way past Connor Gibb, and on that's on the run in towards turn 16. So Jimenez has got the inside line, but look at that switchback.
Connor Gibb nearly trying to get round there as well. Looked like Jimenez went in a little bit deep into 16. That's allowed Gibb to come back through. The battle is still commencing out in front. You can see the leaders go past on the bottom of your screen. Gibb there weaving over the road. Jimenez says, well, you can weave, but I'm still going to try and come through here. Doesn't make it through at the moment. Up front, we've got Suarez running side by side with Clamseater. Clamseater's cleared Sentence now as well, and Sentence is down 3 positions at this current time here on lap 6 of 27. We've got 21 laps remaining, and Suarez, Clamseater and Sentence still battling it out here while Nuoff does open up a bit of a gap up front. He's about 8 tenths up currently at the moment, and at the moment for Suarez, he's got Clamseater chasing him down here, Zach.
Yeah, not going to be great for Pedro Suarez because he wants to go and catch, and Nuoff is going to be loving this. He's going to be saying fight, 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 while he himself tries to build the gap, of course, with them maybe working together ever so slightly. Glamsitter wants to, I don't know, because drivers often have different intentions. And so Suarez is going to be hoping that Glamsitter is of the mindset of going to catch for the lead rather than settling in and fighting for second. So hopefully the Norwegian can get onto the back of Suarez. They can work together nicely and close the gap, because right now, James, it's a closable gap. It's a realistic goal. If they fight too hard, that's going to open up, and it's going to be near impossible to win this race.
Yeah, it definitely will be. Suarez, Glamseater about out now. Excuse me. Glamseater trying to go around the outside of turn 16. He can't be leaving that door open. He's going to have a go on that cutback of 17. Is he going to get him on the run up into 18? He's not. He's going to settle in behind him. I think if Glamseater is going to make that move, he's got a lot better run here. Suarez goes on the defensive. He nearly puts Glamseater against the wall, but he manages here. Glamseater does make it through, and Glamseater now goes up into second place. Suarez is not giving up on that run out of turn 2. They're running wheel-to-wheel action here currently at the moment. Round turn 3 we go. Suarez carried a lot more speed. Glamseater is going to look back up the inside of 4. Nothing doing there. Is he going to look up the inside of 5? He's just not managing to try and get through, and Sentence is closing up on this gap and making his way back here currently at the moment. So Glamsey are having a good old go, but it's just not being able to get through. It looks like Oreo has had another incident. Not an ideal scenario. What's happening down here with Marek Otlovs? He's still chasing down Potapenko, of course, and this is down for 20th and 21st place. So nothing really doing. They're not really closing up currently, but they are trying. Paul LeMay, good evening, chaps. Good evening to you, sir. Robert Ridway, I just jinked Ridders. Yes, you possibly can, but the good thing about Stephen Ridders is he managed to recover all the way back to 14th at the moment, so he's doing a great job on his recovery here. So great job from Ridders. He's now got Chuck Morrow 1.8 up the road. Glamsey Suarez, they're still commencing off on that run down from 15 to 16 at the moment here, and Glamsey is trying to pressurize as much as he can, as much as he possibly can, to try and get through. He's looking up the inside of 16. He's got to get that F3 stopped as much as possible. Suarez on the brakes. That's not going to allow him to get the run out of 16 and 17. Here we go up through 18 at the moment. Suarez still going for it, but is he going to be able to clear Glamsey down into turn one? Glamsey has gone on defensive early. He's going to have that inside line. He settles back in. Suarez stays where he is there, Zach. Nothing doing at the moment.
The laps are definitely, not ticking on any slower. So you're going to need to make a move eventually. And Nuoff is obviously going to be hoping that Glamsiter and Suarez continue to fight as much as they possibly can, so he can build up as much of a gap as possible. Now, obviously, with the addition of Josh Sentence, maybe even Connor Gibb as well, maybe to an extent being only 1.5 seconds behind, we could see this fight for second, as amazing as it is so far proving to be, develop itself to be a race for second, not just a fight for second, because if Nuoff builds a gap like we see with Dutchman in real life motorsports, it's a very dangerous game to play.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think they've got to be looking out here to try and make sure that they don't end up trying to allow Nuoff to open up his gap anymore. He's 1.4 at the moment, with Suarez 4 tenths back currently as well. So absolutely stellar job here, and amazing once more from Nuoff. He's come out of that second position. He took the lead. Glamsey is up 3 into second as well. He's cleared Suarez, he's cleared Sentence, and now he's making a beeline for Kenzie Nuoff, and hopefully he'll be able to manage here as well. Lap 8 of 27 here, Zach. What about tyre deg? Do we think that's going to be causing an issue for these drivers the later they get?
I mean, yeah, as I say, there's not really a lot. Oh, that's wide from Glamsiter. Pedro Suarez going to be looking to get the up and under as they run their way now through 17. And the Hydro Race Racing Force car not quite able to find his way past, albeit a huge mistake from the Norwegian. They go side by side through the pit straight in towards turn number 1. It's the outside line for the man from Portugal.
Yeah, he's trying to get through. Suarez over the back of Glamsey there as well. Glamsey is still fighting out. Suarez still in the mix behind him. He's still trying to get through, pressurizing him all the time on that run through to 4. Here currently at the moment, we can see there is Glamsey, there is Suarez. Through 5 we go, and then on that run through 6 and 7, down into 7, the right-hander. Sharp stop here for these drivers. They've got to run once more, carrying on up into 8 and 9. 8 is really right-hander, but dropping down the hill. It's almost like the corkscrew at Laguna, just without that kind of steep curve there, Zach. And at the moment, they're doing a great job with that part of the section, but it does look like a shallow version of Laguna, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the thing with Aragon is it's not in Laguna Seca, so naturally it is going to be a little bit different. The Spaniards like to do things a little bit differently when it comes to motor racing, whether it's good or for bad, but always difficult corners with the massive undulation changes. Of course, these single-seater cars, albeit, yes, a lot more simplistic with the Formula 3 chassis as opposed to maybe a Formula 1 chassis, still quite a lot of dependency on the underfloor, the ground effect essentially, and very sensitive cars that as soon as they lift up, very easy to disrupt the weight distribution, the weight balance, and especially when they're very pointy cars on the front, as soon as the rear lifts up, you then exaggerate that effect. More weight goes onto the front, and the rear end becomes even more unsteady, which is why you see so many crashes at corners like the corkscrew, because it is so unpredictable sometimes what the car is going to be doing. So you have got to be very, very careful, of course, and well, naturally these guys are going to be looking out for it, but they've got to also avoid sliding, because as we touched on not too long ago, James, when it comes to the tyre wear and tyre deg, as soon as you start to slide, as soon as the thermal temperatures of both the carcass and the internal temps of the tyre start to heat up, tyre degradation gets even worse, which then leads to more slides, and then more slides leads to more increase in temperature, and more increase in temperature leads to more slides, and I think you get where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, and then you just lose your tyres altogether, and next thing you know, you might as well have 2 hot pieces of marshmallow on your axles, because that's just about as much as you're going to have here. And well, you know, for some of these drivers like Chuck Morrow, who's constantly chasing down Townsma, the 2 temps back at the moment, is Morrow going to be able to make it through? He's coming down into turn 7, the right-hander there, Adam Townsma in front, of course, from the Scuderia Hydro Racing Forces team. There is a lot more to add on to the back of that team name, but we won't go all the way through. And as you can see, Chuck Morrow just cannot get through at the moment. As you can see there from Adam Townsma Racing Forces, Formula Racing Team by iRace. It's a long old name. One at the moment that he is trying to defend from Morrow. There's Morrow in the background, Zach, trying to get through, but it's tough here, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Because you've got to stay close, but staying close is difficult. And that run in towards turn 16, it's a very good overtaking opportunity, but it all depends off your exit off the previous corner, which when you run your way down through the hill, through the sweepers, difficult to stay close enough that you can really put your foot down and propel yourself down the back straight. So Towns has got to be very, very careful and hope that this straight isn't quite as long as his team's name, because that would then allow Morrow to close the gap ever so slightly. You can see the curb, you can see the braking zone, and I think there they are going to be onto the brakes. Very close once again, maybe from the man from America. A little bit deep goes Townsma. That is a huge mistake and just allows the up and under. He does have the inside for the next corner, albeit James, but a crucial mistake to make.
Yeah, definitely there. Morrow is looking up the inside at the moment. Is he going to hold on that run down the start-finish straight, of course, here with Morrow. And currently Adam Townsma, Morrow's going to have the inside going into turn 1. He does make it through currently at the moment. Now on that run out of turn 2 as well. We've got Townsma, we've got Morrow, we've got Ridders in this mix here currently at the moment. And it is Morrow who's holding on from Townsma. Is Ridders now going to take that opportunity and try and come through? Ridders is gone. He's gone in a little bit too hot. Currently in the moment, he dropped himself 8 temps back, but Morrow is still on the defence from Townsma. Glamsey are defending here. He is the cork in the bottle at the moment here, Zach, with the fact that he's got Suarez, Sentence, Gibb and Jimenez not too far behind him at all.
He hasn't. So he's got to be really careful. And I'll be honest, I think him overtaking Suarez was one of the biggest mistakes that anyone in this train has made so far this race. It's allowed Neuhoff to get away to this point, and now the man from Norway is defending like crazy. I do not get it. Suarez has the pace. Sentence has the pace. They all have the pace to go and catch, and yet they're not. So I don't get why Christian Glamsiter is not just working with them. Yes, obviously they're competitors and they don't want to finish low down in the order. They want to finish up as high as they can. But touching on as high as they can finish high if they work together. Here comes Suarez to the inside, also in the background as well with Gibb and Jimenez fighting for 5th. You've now got Glamsiter getting overtaken once again. Now we've got to see Suarez needs to close that gap.
Yeah, he definitely does here as well, and he's got to keep trying to get through. Okay, got to keep trying and get through as much as he can. He's just got to pressurize and pressurize and pressurize now, Suarez. He did get overtaken. He's got to keep trying. Alistair Hay has been off track, and unfortunately is in the pits. Potapenko and Otlobs look like they've come once more close together here and have looked like possibly had an incident as well. Tony Jimenez, Connor Gibb fighting out nose to tail. There you go. You can see them on your screen. Jimenez now with Gibb in front of him here on lap 12 of 27. 15 laps remaining and a 1:52.83 is the average lap time at the moment. Jimenez doing a 1:53.27 last time out here. So Jimenez is pressurizing on the back of Gibb. Gibb did a 1:53.82, so Jimenez gained 6 tenths. He's dropped back a little bit. There's a spinner there. That's Sentence. Oh! Sentence looks like he's coming out of turn, well, 8 and turn 9 there, Zach. He looks like he's gone and binned it, unfortunately.
I think so, and that is such a shame for our pole sitter because he was looking mightily quick and controlled the race for sort of the first portion of it. We'll take another look as to how it happened. Coming down the hill, again, already the car is unsettled because it's under a lot of lateral load over the curb on the AstroTurf. Put your foot down, the rear wheel spin, imbalance, and the car goes around. A very, very unfortunate turn of events for Josh Sentence. Still inside the top 10 though, got to push on, hope that the tyres are still okay. That's going to be the main thing on his road to recovery.
Yeah, it definitely will be. He's got to try and keep them temperatures down a little bit and make sure he's got the grip for the last 15 laps. Glamseater, Gibb going at it. Then behind that you've got Gibb, Glamseater and Suarez, sorry. Then you've got Gibb, Jimenez and Youngshi Lin. Behind that you can see the 3-car train. Glamseater sticks his nose out. He's looking up the inside. He's just waiting for Suarez to make a mistake. It is Hydro Race Racing Forces 1 and 2 at the moment. Can they keep this up? Can Suarez hold on from Glamseater once more around turn 4 and 5? He's managing to open it up a little bit. He's got not a lot of gap. He's got about 3 to 4 tenths. It's teetering on that line there, Zach. He's got to, from Glamseater's point of view, I think Newhoff's already gone, so from Glamseater's point of view, he just needs to take that second place away from Suarez, of course, get that extra point gain, because obviously we're just one long continual system here as well, so it goes 40 all the way down into first, so they will obviously score points, but that extra point come the end of the season could be mightily important for Glamseater here, especially with the fact that he's sitting third in the championship.
For sure, yeah. And when it comes down to points, you know, those 1 or 2 points matter. You might be sat at home thinking, it's 1 or 2 points. Come on, really? It's not going to matter that much. It will. Trust me, it will. Everything adds up. As a specific UK supermarket says, every little helps and every little bit does indeed add up. Those 1 or 2 points are going to be 1 or 2 points you're going to be very, very grateful for when you get to the end of the season. When you look back and think, oh, brilliant, I'm still 1 or 2 points ahead, or I've only got a 1 or 2 point gap. You're going to be very grateful for that. Side by side here comes Glamseater trying to get himself up into second place. Pulls alongside, late on the brakes into turn 16, and Suarez doesn't really have an answer for it. However, I have to say that switchback making for some really interesting racing, James.
Yeah, it definitely is. Youngshi Lin had cleared Jimenez down into 16 at the same time. So Lin did clear Jimenez at the end of that as well. So we just saw that move happening in the background. Glamseater is now trying to defend once more from Suarez. The No Limit Sim Racing has put himself in between the Hydro Race Racing Forces team. So it's going to be an interesting battle here. Is Suarez going to let him get through? Is he going to let him get away? I doubt it very much. They're still going at it. We've still got 13 laps remaining of what is a 27-lap race here. We've still got time, Zach, for some epic racing, and I don't doubt that we're going to see some epic racing here.
I mean, we've already seen it throughout the first half of this race, so I've got absolutely no doubt that we're going to see more as it progresses. It's a shame that Newhoff is so far ahead, because a fight for the lead would be fantastic, but we still got a fight for second, we've still got fights for fifth, and all throughout the field as well. That midfield fight, particularly Sentence, Putniks, Timnikans, Moro and Rid is very, very close indeed. So the competitiveness of the field is mightily impressive, and I'm looking forward really for the second half, because this is where it matters. It's been so close and so hard fought up until this point, but you're not really fighting for anything, more just track position and things. Now as you get into the second half, this is when you can start to think moves begin to matter. Having track position in the second half of the race is so important, and this is what Pedro Suarez wants. He's been sat behind for so long and he wants that second place back. Oh, absolutely. And it can easily be done, again, as I say, as fragile as these Formula 3 machines are. It's so easy to unsettle them. The suspension is so stiff, even on the softest setting, the dampers and the anti-roll bars and all of this, that, and the other, the links between the chassis and the wheels, so stiff that if you rise up over an undulation change, the car's going with it. And if it's a sudden jolt, like a little ramp, like a sausage curve, yeah, you're going up in the air, sunshine. Again, commentating on a little bit of Formula E Sports on R-Factor 2 today, and cars literally were riding each other in the most bizarre senses. They lifted up over a sausage curb and mounted the other car. And honestly, it can happen in single-seat Formula cars as well. It can very easily happen in Formula 3 cars. And if you're running side by side and go over a sausage curb, your competitor's got to be really careful not to become the victim of a hitchhiker. Always, yeah. But the risk that you run is that they can just get you back on the next lap. And it is just going to ebb and flow like that. So it's all about positioning yourself, counting the laps, thinking, okay, if I do it on lap 16, where does that put me? So I'm going to be once again behind going on to lap, onto lap 17, which means that on the final lap, I should in fact be behind, which I think at the moment, Glamster, if it ebbs and flows and swaps every lap, isn't a good position, because you want to be the car behind, closely behind, on that final lap, because look at the run you get onto the inside. As long as you can stop the car and not run too deep, like we're probably going to see from Glamster to it can very easily work in your favour, particularly right at the end of the lap, because there's not many more opportunities to find a counter-attack.
Yeah, definitely not. It looks like Potapenko's taking a little bit of a diversion off the side of the circuit here. Unfortunately for him, he's off into the gravel. Is he going to be able to keep it out the barrier? He does. He bounces a little bit. Looked like he lost a little bit of the car in the gravel there. He loses a position to Michael LeMay, and Potapenko goes all the way down into 26th. Looks like Yang Lin and Tony Jimenez have had contact together, unfortunately, with Jimenez and Lin. What has these guys been up to? As here they go now, dropping down through that corkscrew section. Oh, Jimenez just goes in too deep, and Yang Lin just loses a back wing. Jimenez loses the front wing, missed his braking point altogether there, Zach, I think, from Jimenez, and unfortunately it ended up resulting in this. This is what they did. This is on board with Tony Jimenez now, and you can see them coming into that corkscrew section of 8 and 9. Too hot. Goes in too hot there, Zach. Loses his front wing, and Lin loses his rear wing.
Yeah, not the thing that you want on home soil, of course, from Jimenez. Starting to the inside way, just too late, just way too late on the brakes. That obviously goes without saying. And you get to that point where there's no return, and you just have to hope that the car in front turns earlier, but you can't always ride on that, and unfortunately Jimenez didn't really have much control of the car to dart either way. Here is Wanzi Lin, has got a couple of issues as second and third come through. What's happened there?
He still sat there after his incident with Jimenez. He hasn't kind of diverted off at the moment. He's still mounted at the top currently. I'm not sure if he can't get back to the pits or what the situation is. Well, the situation with Ridders and also Morrow is literally around about 3 tenths and closing fast here for Steve Ridders. He's going down that straight with now down below 2 tenths. Is he going to be able to get him long enough? I don't think he's going to have enough track. Zach, to basically get all the way down. He has. He's going to be looking up the inside. Stephen Ridder's over Chop Morrow. Ridder's to gain another position after the ones that he lost at the beginning. Oh, there was contact. Ridder's is off. Is Morrow going to allow him back on? He does, but I'm not entirely sure that was Morrow's fault there. That can look like Ridder's did look like he come across over him.
We'll have to take a second look. I'm just concerned that Ridder's has been given a slowdown for cutting across the track like that. Whether or not the game deems that he's lost time from doing that, I don't know. But it didn't look great from the Canadian. But yeah, initially it did seem that he came across to the right. Of course, that's on first look, and you know there's always speculation to be had there. So Moreau sideways. To be fair to Ridder's, Moreau is out of control at that point. He's moving to the left. The rear end's pointing out to the right. Therefore, the front's pointing to the left. Did he deserve to have space at this point? Ridder's keeps to a line. He doesn't go all the way out to the edge of the circuit. I have to say, I don't think Ridder's is at fault there.
I don't know. I'm sure the stewards might have a look at that one as well here as we're going in. Under 10 laps remaining. Glamseater still battling away with Suarez. They have swapped positions again. They're swapping backwards and forwards here. It's just absolutely crazy. Every single lap they seem to swap positions, and I've got a funny feeling we're going to see it again here on lap 18. Suarez is looking at trying to get past Glamseater. Glamseater goes on a little bit of a defensive, puts his car in the middle, then puts it back on the inside. Suarez, if he's going to go, he's got to go deep. Doesn't manage it. Cool. Blimey, from Suarez's point of view, that was very, very close there, Zach, and really could have resulted them hitting each other.
Could have very easily resulted in that, of course, and now Suarez has got a chance to maybe make amends and go for the move into turn one. Not quite close enough. Glamseater off. Oh my goodness me. He's off the road. He's into the gravel trap, and Suarez takes an easy second.
Oh, what did happen to Glamseater there?
He locked the front right, I think.
Oh, yeah, front left.
Or the left.
And then just goes too hot, and unfortunately Suarez is away. The problem for Glamseater now is not the fact that he can get near Suarez, it's the fact that he's got this young man of Connor Gibb chasing him down here now, Zach. So he's got kind of the situation where he was battling one person, he's now got another one pressurising him. So there's a lot going on for Glamseater at the moment. He can't rear mirror drive with Gibb. He's just got to try and look at get forward back up into Suarez. But that 2.1 is going to be tough for him to deal with.
I'd say so, yeah. Again, because as a driver, you naturally do get frustrated at those incidents, and it takes a really, really high level of maturity, really high level of experience and skill to be able to just wipe that slate clean and go again almost immediately. So, Glamseater, that again, I don't have experience with him. I don't know what he's like as a driver, what his composure is like, so I can't really comment much in that regard. But from what I've seen, he does seem to be quite aggressive and things like that. So he needs to be careful not to fall into that trap of feeling sorry for yourself. And again, as you say, with that fight with Connor Gibb, he cannot fall victim to mirror driving. He cannot constantly be staring in the middle of his screen, focusing behind him, looking over his shoulder in the metaphorical sense, because as soon as that happens, James, that's game over. Gibb is inside of his head rent-free. Glamseater is no longer looking forward, and therefore his best bet is third. Not a bad result, but he wants second.
Yeah, he definitely does. He's closed down some time. We've got 1.7. He's opened up a second on Gibb already. This will be the main kind of battle as we come into the final 7 laps. Glamseater is pushing. Suarez looks like he relaxed a little bit, but he cannot relax for too long. Glamseater is coming. 1.8 second, 1.2 back to Gibb already. He has pulled out a chunk of time on him here, Zach, and he's now trying to go through. It was 2.2 with now 1.7. 7 laps remaining. It's going to be tough for Glamseater, but if he keeps taking out the chunks he is taking out, Isaac, it's possible we might have a go before the end of the race.
He's got pace. That is a very good thing to have. He's got the pace to be able to catch. However, catching is one thing, passing is another, staying in front is another entirely. So you've got piles of things stacking up on top against Christian Glamseater. But once he's in that slipstream, he is going to be able to be locked in. And I think it just goes to show how much maybe Suarez was relying on Glamseater for pace, because that slipstream gained him quite a lot of lap time. And if Glamseater can, take out a good couple of attempts, a decent couple of attempts on Suarez in, just the last lap and a half alone. He definitely is setting some really good, impressive pace, and Suarez has to notice that and could very easily fall victim to maybe looking in his mirror, worrying about Glamstetter too much rather than focusing on the driving. Suarez, he's in the better position here, and he needs to know that 100%, and he needs to have faith in himself that he can hang on that second.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's lost Glamstetter has lost a little bit of time to Suarez. About 2 tenths at the moment on that last lap. It's now back out to 1.9, and he's got in too hot. He's got in so hot. Unfortunately, that gap's out to 2.3. Gibbs within 8 tenths of him here now as well. And Glamstetter made a mistake at that final turn 16 before they go on the run to 17 and 18. And now, I think, to be honest with you, Zach, I think 2.2 going in now is too much. I don't think he's going to get there. Sentence six, the fastest lap of the race on 1:52.313, and he's closing down onto the back of Evan Way, his Sentence at the moment. Tumakun's is also behind that, about 6.2 seconds here with Stephen Ridder's not much further back. As you see there, Otlovs and Potapenko. We've lost Lynn, we've lost Alistair Hay already, and Youngshi Lin did go into the pits, just jumped straight to the pits after his incident with Tony Jimenez. He bounced over the Jimenez, went in too deep. Jimenez's front wing went one way, Lin's back wing went the other, and unfortunately for both of the cars, it was kind of already done and dusted. But for Sentence here over Evan Way, Zach, it's not quite done and dusted yet.
Not quite, of course. Josh Sentence, unfortunately, is serving a sentence of sorts after his own actions a little bit earlier on. A spin, unfortunately, going through the long, quick left-hander towards the middle end of the circuit, whereby he just put the power down too quickly, spun the rear tyres, and spun himself around from a decent position. So the pole sitter not looking too good, unfortunately, but still inside the top 10. And it must be said, a really calm and mature drive, despite the fact he's made that mistake. He's bounced back, and a top 6, maybe if he can catch Flint, a top 5. I don't see that happening, but the fact that he's been able to recover that well from a poor start and also a spin to be able to score some good points there in 6th, if he gets 6th, of course, it's a good, calm, mature drive.
Yeah, definitely has as well. Thank you, Ridgeway Racing, for your $3 donation there. That's absolutely amazing of you as well. So thank you so much for that one. And Sentence now has got Way. Way moves to the left. Sentence tucks up in behind him here, down into turn 1. That left-hander once more for Josh Sentence. Runs a little bit wide on the exit, coming out through 2 and 3. They're going to go up into 4 and then through to the left-hander here as well of 4. There's the first part into 5. Sentence is dropped, bringing him down. I should say almost dropped to 10th there, but he managed to get it back down to 3.5. 3 attempts there as well, so he's bringing it down a little bit by little bit here for Sentence. Could 5th place, 6th place be a possibility here though, Zach? And do we think as well, because he is getting closer, he's faster, he was faster over the last lap, Way on a 53.15, Sentence on a 52.83, so he's definitely closing here as we go into the last 5 laps.
He is. And I think it could be a very, very real possibility. And now already pulling up to the left-hand side alongside Way. And he's going to go to the left-hand side. Way goes the long way round and keeps that 6th place. Now gives him the inside for the following right-hander and retains P6. Sentence having to settle in behind for 7th as they run their way through the downhill chicane. Brilliant sequence of corners if you can nail it. Get your foot down and hope that the car is planted as you've got a long, long way up towards the next braking zone. Sentence, however, not really quite close enough. It all depends on that exit beforehand, and fortunately for Way, he's quick enough in all the right places.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's holding on here. He got the exit out of 15 that he needed. Is he going to be able to get that run out of 16? Way's looking comfortable. Sentence is going to try that cut back. He's going to try on the right hander now, coming out of there 17 through 18, that long left hander, and then we're going to go off on that run down into turn 1. I think Senton's got the run out of 18. He's going to be looking up the inside of Evan Way. Side by side, through they go. Way gives him bucket loads of room. And now Sentence opens up the steering a little bit. Stops Way coming through 2. He's going to hold on through 3 and 4 here. So a great job from him as well for Sentence. Is Evan Way going to be looking at coming back on the through 4 and on the exit of turn 5? Not this time around. And I believe this could be Sentence gone here, Zach, if Evan Way don't keep him honest, because Sentence was quick. He was your pole man, of course, and unfortunately he's down 5 positions. So from Way's point of view, he's got to try and stay with Sentence, but I think that's going to be a tough ask.
I think so indeed. Sentence is very quick, and of course we saw that in qualifying with his pole lap time, and his pace at the start was able to keep Neuhoff at bay for at least a few laps. So Sentence was probably up there, maybe to be on pace with the podium at the very least. Of course, that's not quite how things have transpired. From a good fight here for 9th, I should say, between Tumul Khan's and Stephen Ridders, who's ducking and diving, trying to find some space. Left-hand side of your shot, of course, that's the right-hand side of the circuit. It's the long way around going into the chicane, but we've seen how powerful switchbacks here, and I think Stephen Ridders might be able to benefit off it. Not quite, but as long as he can keep Tumul Khan's under a little bit of pressure going through turn 15, he's got a long run in order to benefit from slipstream.
Yeah, he definitely has. Is he going to be able to, that's the thing for Irvin Tumulkans, is he going to be able to hold on to Ridders on that run down from 15 to 16 with 4 laps now? We've just gone in to 3 laps remaining. Neuhoff is still out in front by 4 seconds. Here goes Ridders on the inside. It's going to be job done, I think, for Stephen Ridders. He's overshot the corner. Is he going to be able to hang on? He's looking up the inside. Is Stephen Ridders? They're going to be battling it out side by side. Oh, Ridders got the job done there, Zach, and then overshot the corner. And for Tumulkans, he just turned around and said, thank you very much. Ridders is having another go down into turn 1. He does make it through this time and manages to hold it there, Zach, but he was very, very lucky on that one.
I think so. Yeah, he was very, very flirting with disaster, I think, is probably the best way to put it. But now the fight continues. Of course, Ridders' fight is not over. Tumul Khan's trying to put him still under a little bit more pressure, but goes a little bit too wide going through that long left-hander. And now it's put him on the back foot, because now they've got Moro for company. And the American can see an opportunity for a top 10. And yes, there's only 1 point difference, but as we've already said, that 1 point difference could be huge. Also, saying you finished in the top 10 sounds nicer than saying you finished 11th, so I'm sure he's going to want that top 10 prestige.
Oh, absolutely. I fully agree with you. Keeping it into the, getting the car in the top 10. I was 10 out of 28. You're like, okay, that doesn't actually sound too bad. We obviously lost Cruz at the beginning, which is what we was expecting. Alistair Hay unfortunately went off, and we saw what happened to Young Jilin. Tony Jimenez set the fastest lap of the race last time out on a 1:52.07 to nearly into the 51s for Jimenez after we saw his right wing go off just about now at that corner, of course. But Morrow is now going to try and close up to the back of Irvin Tumulkans. We're going to watch the time come down. Tumulkans might survive with that little bit of draft he's getting from Ridders. It's not a lot, but it might actually help him survive going down into that turn 16 at the base here. He's going to go to the left hander now. Chuck Morrow closes right in there. Ridders makes it through cleanly. Tumulkans makes it through cleanly. Morrow's got to try and look at getting a run out of 17. Round the long left-hander of 18 we go on to that start-finish straight. For Tumulkans, he kind of survived just because of that little bit of draft he got from Ridders there, because we've seen him come from 4/10 back before there, Zach, and they normally end up losing that position.
Yeah, they do indeed. So, of course, very, very mature stuff there from Tumulkans, because Slipstream is going to really help him. Yes, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, being the centre car in a 3-car fight, looking both forwards and looking backwards. But the fact is that he can use the saving grace, really, of Ridders' Slipstream in order to help him defend. Obviously, that's why we see DRS trains starting to form. Of course, these Formula 3 cars don't have DRS, but it's that same concept. It cancels itself out. You have DRS to the car in front, the car behind has DRS to you. So it's a negligible advantage, which is, I think, is really what is keeping Tumulkans in this fight and keeping Chuck Morrow at bay. However, Ridders is slowly starting to build a bit of a gap, a couple of car lengths at a time, and that 257 is looking very daunting for the top 10.
Yeah, Morrow definitely looks like he's going to try and come and get him on that run out of turn 15. Morrow's closer now. Tumakins is out of really effective draft range, and I say that because he's nearly 7 tenths back at the moment. He's not going to be able to survive this one. If Morrow can get the run out, which it looks like he has, he's got the gap down to 3 tenths. It's already down to 2 tenths. You're going to see Chuck Morrow pull out on the right-hand side of the circuit. Tumakins now has gone defensive. He's going to send Morrow around the outside. Tumakins still defensive. They're going to be side by side. It's the late breakers. Tumakins and Morrow side by side round 16. They're going to come out. Morrow's going to keep his foot in round 17 there. And oh no! Wow, you could only say well held to Chuck Morrow, but that was, I've got to be honest there, Zach, for a brief moment to run it round the outside of 16 on the exit of 17, that's got to be an incredible moment for Chuck Morrow. One of the outstanding overtakes we've seen today. He was there briefly. We will give it to him. Incredible run from Chuck Morrow, but just on the exit of 17, too many beans through the pedal and slipped it up, and that was it. He just dropped back a little bit too far now.
I think so. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. Of course, you've only got a lap and a half left to go, which does make it quite difficult for any massive progress to be made. I think that might have been one of his last opportunities. Well, definitely is going to be his last opportunity now, being so far off the back of those in front. And you can see on the timing tower, of course, no major yellow or red fights starting to appear. It's all white across the board. New off has managed to pull the gap on Suarez, who's been able to pull the gap on Clemseta, so etc., all the way down. I mean, again, Morrow is closing the gap back to Tumul Khan, so we could well see a fight for that regard. However, what we have got is Jimenez still fighting for a place. He's got the Dutchman of Ortlovs as well for company, or the Latvian, I should say. I can't even see the colours. Oh my god, I'm absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy tonight, James. But Latvia for Ortlovs, and wow, he's closing the gap and trying to ruin the Spaniards' day.
Yeah, it definitely is. Obviously, from Jimenez's point of view, he's trying to come back through here and do a stellar job. It is the final lap. Everybody got a little bit more spread out as the race went on. Williams is just nearly into the gap of Spence. He's using that draft down 15. Spence has moved twice there. Come on, sir, you're not weaving a jumper. Let's keep it in the straight line. Once is fine. Twice is almost bordering on the lines of a little bit OT. And if you go 3 times, well, you might as well nip me a woolly jumper, because that, unfortunately, is a little bit over the top. But from Spence's point of view, he's managed to hold on and managed to keep in front of Williams. Just for how long, that will be the question. The leader's on his run out of turn 8 and 9. We will keep an eye. There's 2 Barneys, Barney and his twin, waving frantically. Spreads goes on the defence. Williams fakes him, and Williams goes through at turn 1. Another barnstorm and overtake from Jack Williams there, puts himself inside the top 15 currently at the moment. And the question is can he hang it on? Round 15 to 16 here as well. Spence is looking quick through that section. Williams has got to try and open up the gap. He either's got to make a decision. Either let Garrett Spence through and try and get him out of the run out of 14, or defend like an absolute lion here, mate, because at the end of the day, Zach, 15 to 16, surely it's got to be Spence's chance.
Yeah, I think that might well be it. In the slipstream, put your foot down and hope that you can get enough of a run. And now, obviously, Williams under a little bit of pressure. Spence is going to be hoping for it. We'll be looking, obviously, to where Newhoff crosses the line as our race victor, 4.5-ish seconds clear of Suarez. There he is now running his way through. A brilliant race, it must be said, for him.
Yeah, Kenzie Newhoff comes through, takes the checkered flag. He's out in front. He's up 1 place. He's done an absolute stellar job and takes the victory. What about Chuck Morrow and Tumakins? Tumakins on the defensive. He is defending. Morrow's going to try and run him around the outside of 16 again. Morrow doesn't quite get the run this time. Tumakins can take his line and manages to hold on. Morrow, the same thing again. What about Tony? What about happened to Garrett Spence and Jack Williams, I should say? Spence is not going to get close enough, I don't believe, down into 16 here. It's going to be a dive and a half for Spence. Oh! nearly hits Willems on the final couple of corners there. Stellar job from him. Ito, what about Ito and Jimenez? They're running side by side. Coming out of 16, Ito's going to be surely looking at getting that run out of 18 now. Are they going to be able to do it? Is Ito going to be able to do it? He is not. Tony Jimenez goes through. Koji Ito behind him there as well. But boy, oh boy, Garrett Spence gave it a go and a half there, Zach. I almost thought he was going to take him out in front of him.
I know, and that's the commitment that we see from racing drivers on the final lap. They go for moves like that because they know it's their final chance. They know they're not going to have any more, so they risk it. They say, you know what, it's better to fail trying than to not try at all. So he just went for it. At that point, it was do or die, 15th or nothing. Spence, and it was a fantastic almost move, it must be said, but in the end it was Williams that was able to stay in front. 27 laps of racing, James, and 27 amazing laps of action.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Good evening, Phil. You have joined us right at the end. It is myself and Mr. Sweeney into the booth here this evening as we look
Phil.
at this mounted. Yeah, Phil's in. Phil's always comes in. He's a bit late.
A whole week off of him. Whole week off.
Yeah, well, you know, what can you do? But Kenzie Newhoff there doing donuts. We will try and go on so we can actually see his donuts. I'm not entirely sure what was happening. But let's also bring you up the results here as well. And hopefully we might see some smoke from Newhoff. Newhoff is your winner by 4.5 seconds. It's a Hydra race. Racing Forces 1-2 with Suarez in second. Glam Sita and Gibb got No Limit Sim Racing third and fourth. Andy Flint from Scudiera Hydra Racing Forces Formula Sim Racing in fifth, and then Josh Sentence, Evan Way in sixth and seventh, Marcius Putnick's eighth, Steve Ridder's ninth, Irvin Tumakin's 10th, Chop Morrow in 11th with Adam Townsma 12th, Leonard Cherry 13th, Jack Williams 14th, and Garrett Spence down in 15th. Then you've got Reno Scattini, Tony Jimenez, Koji Ito, Marek Otlovs, Reed Dennis, Matthew Gracie, Dorian Aurora, Arturo Mayorga, Vyacheslav Potapenko, and then Michael LeMay. And then on from Michael LeMay, you had Youngshi Lin, Alistair Hay and Manuel Cruz. So a great job from everybody here as well, and what an exceptional evening of racing it's been there. Zach, thank you so much for joining me, it's much appreciated. Does Zach do race room MX5s, says Coco on EU?
Yes, that's me and Cameron Roger. Yeah, funnily enough, obviously into race room and stuff, but we're doing it Wednesday, and it's a really good series. It's a lot of fun. MX5s, by the way, Tuesday with me and James. Yeah,
it does. I do love Phil. He's put and the number 2 commentator, Zach.
You're so funny.
He's doing very well.
I wish I got paid more day rates from Formula E so I could stay away from Phil for longer.
Ooh. Steady you. He'll have you. He will there as well. Don't you worry about it.
It's one of them.
Yeah, well, we'll give you as much grief on Tuesday. Don't you worry about it. But Zach, thank you so much, mate. Did you enjoy that?
I had a lot of fun, yeah. I've now got a 2.5 half-hour drive home, which I don't know about, but at least it's pumped me up. It's got me ready. So, yeah, it's been a great way to round off a great weekend.
2.5 hours, there's that, because you put them both in the same sentence.
Well, it's 2 and a bit, but I want to stop and fill up and get a drink sort of thing. So we'll see. We'll see how I feel.
Okay, well, there you go. Coco on EU says, yeah, I watched it. So there you go.
Cheers, appreciate it.
You're one fan there.
Yes, I've got a fan. I've made it, Mum. I've made it,
Mum. Look at Mum on TV. I'm famous. But there we go, guys. That has brought us to the end of this epic evening of racing. Much love to you all. Don't forget, we've still got more great racing coming up on the JPB YouTube channel here today. The videos will go up live tomorrow, but later on today, we've got the Radical Sim Racing Americas kicking off from Silverstone there. Then tomorrow we've got round 9 of the JPB Clio Cup from Watkins Glen, LSRL GT3 at 1:45, and then the UK Sim Racers with myself and Zach on Tuesday. BSC NASCAR JBB GT4s on Wednesday, F1s TSRC GT3s with ACC, Ferraris, Radicals, TCRs. The new season of the JBB TCR League kicks off from Silverstone, and the Triple Bypass Gen 4. We've got everything, every form of car next week, so definitely come by and check us out. It is absolutely incredible. But from myself and Zach Sweeney this evening, you all take care, have a great week, and you never know, We might see you on the track sometime. Good night.